In the bustling heart of Lagos, where the streets were always alive with people, cars, and vendors, one woman stood out. Her name was Mama Rebe, and she sold the most delicious Ewa Agoyin beans anyone had ever tasted. People from far and wide came to eat her famous beans, but no one knew the secret behind her success until one fateful day, when our workers uncovered a secret so shocking, it changed everything. Once upon a time, in a lively neighborhood in Lagos, there was a woman named Mama Rebe. She was well loved in the community, known for her warm smile and her incredible cooking skills. Every morning, before the sun even rose, Mama Rebe would wake up, tie a wrapper tightly around her waist, and head to her kitchen to prepare her famous Ewa Agoyin beans. The smell of her cooking filled the air, drawing people from their homes like a magnet. They would come out, following the delicious aroma, until they found Mama Rebe sitting by a small stall at the street corner, serving steaming plates of Ewa Agoyin to our eager customers. At first, Mama Rebe's business was small. She sold her beans from a tiny wooden table with just a few pots and pans. But her Ewa Agoyin was so delicious that soon word spread far beyond her neighborhood. People from other parts of Lagos began traveling long distance just to taste her beans. Her little store became so popular that there was always a long line of customers waiting to be served. As the day turned into weeks and weeks into months, Mama Rebe's little business grew. She saved every penny she earned, always dreaming of the day when she could open a proper shop. And one day, that dream came true. Mama Rebe had saved enough money to buy a small shop on the busy main road. She was overjoyed, and the whole neighborhood celebrated with her. The new shop was bigger than her old store. It had shining glass windows, a large sign that read Mama Rebe's Ewa Agoyin, and plenty of space for customers to sit and enjoy their meals. Inside, there were tables and chairs neatly arranged, and a big counter where the food was served. Mama Rebe hired a few workers to help her with the cooking and serving, and her children also helped out whenever they could. But even though the shop was now big and bustling with customers, Mama Rebe was still very particular about one thing: the big pot of Ewa Agoyin beans. No matter how busy the shop was, she never let anyone else touch that pot. Our workers could prepare the ingredients, cook the beans, and even fry the pepper sauce. But when it came time to serve the Ewa Agoyin, only Mama Rebe was allowed to dip the spoon into the pot. Every day, Mama Rebe would sit in a special chair by the pot with a large wooden spoon in her hand. She would greet her customers with a smile, ladle the beans into bowls, and hand them over with care. People loved watching her serve because it seems like there was something magical about the way she did it. The beans were always perfectly cooked, soft and flavorful, with just the right amount of pepper sauce on top. But as much as the workers admire Mama Rebe, they couldn't help but wonder why she was so secretive about the pot. Why wouldn't she let anyone else touch it? And why did she never let the pot go empty? Whenever the beans started running low, Mama Rebe would quickly call for more, and she would carefully add them to the pot herself, making sure it was always full. Some of the workers began to talk among themselves. "Have you ever seen what is at the bottom of that pot?" One of them asked. "No." Another replied, "Mama Rebe never lets us near it. It's like she's hiding something." "Maybe it's just a special way of cooking," said another worker. But deep down, they were all curious. What was so special about that pot? As time went on, the workers' curiosity grew. They noticed that even when Mama Rebe had to leave the shop, she would fill the pot to the brim before she left and tell them not to serve the beans until she came back. This only made them more suspicious. What was it about the pot that Mama Rebe didn't want anyone else to see? One day, the workers decided they couldn't take it anymore. They had to know the truth. It was a busy afternoon and the shop was full of customers as usual. Mama Rebe had just served the last bowl of beans before excusing herself to go to the bathroom. As always, she filled the pot and gave strict instructions not to serve until she returned. As soon as Mama Rebe left, the workers gathered in the kitchen. "This is our chance," one of them whispered. "Let's see what is really in that pot." The others hesitated, but their curiosity was too strong. They tiptoed to the pot and carefully lifted the heavy lid. Steam rose into the air and the smell of beans filled the room. But as they looked inside, they saw something that made their blood run cold. At the bottom of the pot, hidden beneath the layers of beans, was a dead tortoise. The workers gasped and jumped back in shock. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. How could a dead tortoise be inside the pot where the famous Ewa Agoyin was cooked? They had so many questions and they were terrified of the answers. Just as they were staring at the tortoise in horror, the door to the kitchen cracked open. Mama Rebe had returned. She saw her workers gather around the pot and her heart sank immediately. She knew what had happened. They had discovered a terrible secret. Mama Rebe's face turned pale and her hands started to shake. She took a deep breath and slowly approached the pot. The workers stepped back, unsure of what she would do next. But instead of anger, they saw something else in Mama Rebe's eyes: fear and regret. "I can explain," Mama Rebe stammered, her voice trembling. "But I never wanted this to happen." The workers were silent, waiting for her to continue. Mama Rebe sank to her knees and began to cry. Through her tears, she confessed everything. Many years ago, when she first started selling Ewa Agoyin, her business was struggling. No matter how hard she worked, she couldn't make enough money to take care of her family. Desperate and afraid of failing, she had gone to see a powerful herbalist. The herbalist had told Mama Rebe that if she wanted her beans to be famous, she needed to place a dead tortoise at the bottom of her cooking pot. The tortoise, he said, would bring her good luck and make her Ewa Agoyin so delicious that people would come from all over to eat it. But there was a catch. The tortoise had a dark magic and only Mama Rebe could touch the pot. If anyone else tried, terrible things would happen. At first, Mama Rebe had been hesitant, but the herbalist's words tempted her. She was so desperate for success that she did as he said. From that day on, her Ewa Agoyin became famous, just as the herbalist had promised. But the price of that success was a secret she had to carry alone. As Mama Rebe finished her story, she looked at her workers with pleading eyes. "I am so sorry," she whispered. "I thought I was doing what was best for my family, but I see now that I made a terrible mistake." But before anyone could respond, something strange happened. Mama Rebe's hand started to twitch and her eyes rolled back in her head. She began to mutter strange words under her breath, and then she let out a loud scream. The workers watched in horror as Mama Rebe started to tear at her clothes, pulling her hair and running wildly around the kitchen. "Mama Rebe, stop!" one of the workers shouted, trying to calm her down. But it was too late. Mama Rebe was no longer in control of herself. She ran out of the shop, screaming and shouting as she tore through the crowded street. People looked on it, shocked as the woman they had once admired lost her mind right before their eyes. The workers were left in the kitchen, stunned and speechless. The pot of Ewa Agoyin with the dead tortoise inside was still on the stove, but none of them dared to go near it. The once busy shop quickly emptied out as word spread about what had happened. No one wanted to eat Mama Rebe's Ewa Agoyin anymore, not after what they had seen. As the day passed, the shop remained closed. Mama Rebe was never seen again in Lagos. Some say she wandered the streets, mad and broken, while others believe she left the city to hide her shame. The workers, haunted by what they had discovered, could never bring themselves to open the shop again. The pot that had once held the famous Ewa Agoyin beans was thrown away, along with the tortoise. But the memory of Mama Rebe's secret lived on in the minds of those who had worked for her and those who had eaten their beans. The story of Mama Rebe teaches us that taking shortcuts and using dishonest means to achieve success can only lead to disaster. But true success is built on hard work, honesty, and integrity. When we try to cheat or use magic to get what we want, we may achieve temporary success, but it will eventually come back to haunt us. It is always better to do the right thing the right way. Thank you guys for watching to this moment. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure you do so by clicking on the subscribe button. It is free. And make sure you like, comment, and share with your friends.